It's amazing the power a gavel has to shut down conversation. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Please take your seats so we can begin our meeting. Before we begin, Co-Chair Bejarano and I want to take a moment to thank our predecessors of the Resolutions Committee co-chairs, Patrice Taylor and Rich Fitzgerald. Thank you all for your leadership and your guidance. We have very big shoes to fill. So, I hereby call this meeting of the Resolutions Committee to order. My name is Ron Harris, and I am from the great state of Minnesota. Welcome to my town. So glad to see you all here. And I serve as co-chair of the Resolutions Committee alongside Yohi Bejarano from Arizona. Just briefly, I've been on the Resolutions Committee, I think, for 7 years now. On the DNC for 9. It's amazing. I was a little kid when I started this thing, and now I feel like an OG. And I have the great honor of also serving as chair of the Midwestern Caucus of the DNC.
Thank you, Ron. Hi, I'm Yolanda Bejarano. I'm the former chair of the Arizona Democratic Party, and I'm really honored to serve alongside all of you.
So again, I just want to extend a huge thank you to the members of the Resolutions Committee joining us today as we consider resolutions that amplify the policies of our party or they honor the lives of distinguished and prominent Democrats that we have recently lost. It is such a privilege to serve on this committee with you, and I look forward to the work that we're going to do together ahead. I also want to extend a thank you to the members who have submitted resolutions and those members who have indicated their support for various proposed resolutions by signing on as co-sponsors. So per our rules, any DNC member who wanted to co-sponsor a resolution had to advise the Secretary's office and party affairs prior to this meeting. So all members who indicated their interest in co-sponsoring a resolution by the initial August 18th deadline were added to the resolutions sent in the Secretary's 7-day mailing. Any other members who have signed on as co-sponsors after the deadline and prior to this meeting will be added and included in the packet that will be distributed to members via email ahead of general session tomorrow. So as we get underway, please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, over to you, Chair Bejarano.
Thank you, Ron. I would like to acknowledge our parliamentarian, Helen McFadden. Helen has graciously served, She has served as the DNC's parliamentarian for many years and is always available to answer any questions that we may have. At this time, I will ask Helen to call the roll.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dennis Adams. Okay. Robert Alonso. Lamont Bagby. Stephanie Beal. Here. Ada Brincia. Okay. Carol Burke. Gregory Christensen. Jessica Cook. Present. Janie Cotton. Here. Deborah Cunningham Skurick. Here. Sophia Dannenberg. Mr. Folks has given his proxy to Lawrence Zaxon. Peggy Grove. Here. Ben Hackett has given his proxy to Latanya Reeves. Donovan Hawk. Here. Millie Herrera. Here. Curtis Hertel, thank you. Marge Hoffa. Here. Van Johnson.
Here.
Leroy Jones has given his proxy to Peg Schaefer. Kay Kuntz. Here. Harini Krishnan. Here. Otto Lee.
Good morning, Lee, present.
Sandra Lee Williams.
Present.
Corey Lemke.
Here.
Sharon Mast.
Here.
Oscar Mata. Here. Shane Merrill.
Here.
Jorge Neary.
Here.
Jason Park. Terry Pickens. LaTanya Reeves. Yvonne Reeves-Strong. Peg Schaffer. Lottie Shackelford. Nathan Solst. Jeff Strader. Annalisa Swan. Brad Townley. John Verdejo, thank you. Nicole Verdi. Samuel Santiago. David Woodard. Lawrence Zaxton. Chairs, you certainly have a quorum.
Thank you, Helen. Per our charter and bylaws, a quorum is constituted by 40% or 19 resolutions committee members present in person or by proxy. So we do have a quorum. And before we get started with the business of the meeting, I do want to take a moment to thank the Office of the Secretary and DNC staff. They work tirelessly to make sure that our meetings run smoothly so we're able to get our work done. So thank you all for everything that you do. A few technical pieces. When using the microphone, tap the button with the face on it, and the microphone will turn on. It will turn red, and you'll be able to tell when it lights up red. If you are not speaking, please make sure that your microphone is muted. Also, if you wish to be recognized, please take your name placard and place it on the table like this. This is a really big committee, and I think this would make it a lot easier for us. Also, when speaking, please state your name and state for our court reporter. Ron?
All right, y'all, according to the schedule of our meetings, we have until 10:30 this morning to complete our business today, and we'll do our best to make sure that we get done by that time. As you can see in your packet, we have 19 proposed message resolutions and 21 commemorative resolutions to consider. Every member has an agenda and a packet of the proposed resolutions in their folder. So pursuant to our bylaws, all of the resolutions submitted by the 21-day deadline were sent to DNC members in the Secretary's 14-day mailing. Now, as we consider each resolution, staff will display the resolution on the screen behind me. Being able to view the resolutions in real time will allow us to see any amendments as they are proposed. We will discuss the resolutions in the order that you find them in your packet. And as we begin this new iteration of the Resolutions Committee, Co-Chair Bejarano and I want to take a moment to establish a handful of guiding principles that we hope that you'll bring to each meeting, including this one and every meeting subsequent. So as you all know, we're all here because this party and this process means something to us. With that in mind, we ask that you each come to the table assuming best intent from your colleagues. We want to build trust, we want to listen openly, we want to engage in discussion that reflects our shared values. So as a reminder, the DNC bylaws establish the role of this committee to consider all resolutions proposed by a member of the DNC on matters of policy and principles consistent with the Democratic Party platform or to honor a recently deceased prominent Democrat. Again, as we consider today's resolutions, please keep in mind the scope of our responsibilities. While the issues before us are important and at times contentious, we cannot lose sight of the bigger truth that we are ultimately on the same side. We may come at things from different perspectives, but our work here is not about dividing or tearing down. Our work is actually about finding the common ground that brings us together, even when that path is hard. So as we move through today's business, let's do so with respect, with empathy, and with the awareness that every single person at this table is here because you care deeply about the future of this party, you care deeply about the future of this country, and if we can carry that spirit with us, I believe that the work that we do today will make us stronger and help us live up to the very values that we're here to defend. So with a noticeably larger committee, we ask that you are mindful of your speaking time as well, so everyone has an opportunity to participate. As co-chairs, it is our responsibility to ensure that the meeting is a productive use of your time. So to keep the discussion moving, we're going to recognize the next speaker once one member has had 1 to 2 minutes to address the committee. Please don't get mad when we start cutting mics and saying, hey, all right, you hit your 2 minutes. We all agree? All right. Are there any questions before we get started? Any questions? All right, let's get cracking. Okay, let's begin with resolution number 1. Resolution recognizing the need to bring down the cost of living and address the affordability crisis in America. The chair will recognize John Verdejo to make brief remarks. In the interest of time, we ask that you keep your remarks 1 to 2 minutes in length.
Good morning, committee. Good morning, chair. Good morning, everyone. I want to speak of resolution number 1 positively. In resolution number 1, the wording says it all. I mean, there's no real reason for me to give a 2-minute soliloquy. I mean, we all here, we understand that you know, the parties, one of the party's many roles is to also help those lesser of us. And what's happening right now is this. Okay. And what's happening is this, with what's happening with the GOP. I refuse to say his name, the man that occupies the White House. He's making it so that there's millions and millions of folks who are in need that, you know, due to this big ugly bill, affordability is down, they can't feed their kids, you know, you name it. So this, you know, this resolution, I'm speaking in positivity of it, and yeah, this is everything that the Democratic Party should be about. So I ask that this sees the light of day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Verdejo. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC so we can begin discussion. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we will now vote on recommending the resolution as printed. All in favor of the resolution say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, resolution number 1 passes. Let's now move to resolution number 2, condemning the first 6 months of the second Trump administration. And I'd like to recognize the amazing member from the state of Arkansas, Lottie Shackelford.
Good morning. I am introducing the resolution number 2 on behalf of our chair, Ken Martin, and of course co-sponsored by so many of you. This resolution is condemning the first 6 months of the current administration. I don't have to go through a litany of all of the things we are condemning, but what I do want to remind you of is that Democrats will be fighting each and every day. And so take a look at our resolve on this resolution, that we are condemning the chaos, the cruelty, and the confusion that's wrought by this president over the first 6 months of his term, and that we commit to organizing everywhere, competing everywhere, and winning everywhere to put a check on his out-of-control administration. And our last action on this resolution, that we will work tirelessly to undo the damage that this president has done and deliver relief and opportunity for American families. I urge you to consider voting yes for this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Shackelford. Before we continue, please note that our bylaws limit discussion to resolution committee members only. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 2 passes. Let's go to resolution number 3 for humanitarian aid to Gaza and an end to the Israel-Hamas war. I'd like to recognize our chairman, Ken Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, esteemed members of this committee. One thing all of us in this room agree on is that the crisis in Gaza is urgent. This resolution is focused on the humanitarian crisis and makes clear that it must be addressed as the emergency that it is. As I've always said, we have to center humanity in this conversation. Thousands and thousands of innocent lives have been lost in this conflict. It has now become commonplace, unacceptably, to accept civilian lives as a casualty of conflict. One innocent life lost is one too many. My resolution calls for the secure and unrestricted flow of aid to Gaza, which is absolutely essential, and is the position of 44 Senate Democrats who signed a letter recently calling for a large-scale expansion in aid. The resolution also recognizes the complexity of the conflict in the Middle East and calls for a long-term peace through a two-state solution negotiated through direct bilateral negotiations. As I've written in this resolution, the long-standing Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a complex dispute between two peoples with historic claims to the land. And the Democratic Party recognizes the worth of every Israeli and every Palestinian and affirms that both peoples have the right to security, to dignity, and to self-determination free from violence, extremism, and hatred in all forms. Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, I submit this resolution for consideration by this committee.
Thank you, Chairman. The Chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval. Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we will now vote on recommending the resolution. All in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, Resolution 3 carries. Moving to Resolution number 4 on the integrity in the financing of our presidential primary elections. The Chair will recognize our Chairman, Ken Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, committee members. The Democratic Party and I personally believe that elections belong to the American people, not the ultra-wealthy, not big corporations. I believe the American people share our belief. As our 2024 platform states, too much money flows in the shadows to influence our elections. Many of us in this room, like my friend Larry Cohen in the back, many of us in this room have been fighting for years to find ways to end Citizens United and to get the corrosive impact of money out of politics, and it's long past due. Our party needs to live its values, and we're going to live our values through our party process. Now, we might not be Congress, we might not be the courts, but what we can do is to use our power and platform to model good behavior. We can use our DNC task force on reforms, which is newly composed, to take up this issue as a critical party business and explore what tools are at our disposal to actually effectuate this change in our presidential primary process. And that's exactly what my resolution does. While we can't overturn Citizens United, we don't have the power to do that, we do have some power through our process here to actually live our values as a party, and that's what this intends to do. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval. Is there a second? Any discussion? Seeing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Peg Schaefer from New Jersey. The only thing I want to say about it is I believe in full transparency with respect to dollars that we raise, but we're in a situation now where when they go low, we need to go lower. So I want to make sure we're not going to say that we're not going to take dark money if they are going to take dark money, because I think we need whatever resources we can get to make sure we turn the tide.
Thank you, Ms. Schaefer. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we will now vote on recommending the resolution as printed. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 4 carries. Resolution number 5. Yes. It's okay to clap. I'm not being strict, but it's okay to clap. Number 5, resolution honoring the courage of Democratic Texas state legislators fighting for voting rights. I'd like to recognize member from Texas, Jeff Schrader.
Thank you, Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Myself and along with my colleague Roberto Alonso, we both live in communities that are affected by redistricting, by mid-decade redistricting. In Dallas, where I live, we will be losing one Democratic seat, which is a majority-minority seat, and that's something that we have appreciated the support from the DNC and members and Democrats across the country. Chairman Martin said yesterday, we need to skate where the puck is, which is a hard analogy for a Texan. even though we do have a Stanley Cup a long time ago, Dallas Stars. But that statement aligns with this resolution. I'm old enough to remember the 2003 Killer D's from Texas when they fled Texas to fight quorum, and there wasn't the national support like there has been now. And so this resolution aligns with the great work the DNC has been doing in Texas. Myself and my colleague Roberto Alonso appreciate that. We appreciate your support, and we, of course, would love for your unanimous approval of this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Strader. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval. I know we gotta move it, then we gotta, is there a second? Second. All right. Go ahead.
My name is Roberto Alonso from Texas. I joined Jeff in encouraging to support this resolution. And this resolution not only is great, but it's personal. Let me tell you why. Jeff just mentioned about how the Killer D's left Texas in 2003. I was one of them. And as Jeff mentioned, I too joined in saying thank you, Mr. Chairman, for what you've done. Through your leadership, you made this help make it a national issue. And I call it the concept of win-win, lose-win. I know we always want to win. We talk about elections. And yes, we lost, but by losing, we won. How did we win? Because through the leadership of the chairman and others across the country, got it. We get it. We're not just going to let them take away 5 seats. We're going to go get another 5 seats in California. We did not get it. We did not get it in 2003, but important, we get it now. The other personal part of this resolution has to do with the Voting Rights Act. This is part of our fight, using the Voting Rights Act to fight. The reason that's personal, because all of you know that the Voting Rights Act started in '65, but it only applied from Arkansas to Florida. Texas came up with this idea, kind of like California did this year, in 1975, to amend the Voting Rights Act to apply to the whole Southwest. So many of us, including myself, was elected under the Voting Rights Act, and many of our friends, legislators, city council, is because of Texas' idea. We had a lot of pushback in '75 from a lot of friends, because they thought that if we amended the Voting Rights Act, it would take away power from the South. It didn't. It helped many of us, as we're talking about today. So again, I thank you. Lastly, as we're talking about the puck and going toward the puck, I learned, Mr. Chairman, yesterday that you guys are very big into hockey, right? I learned yesterday that the puck moved from Minnesota to Texas. The Stars, the Dallas Stars that have won the Stanley Cup, were from Minnesota. I just barely learned that at the Capitol Grill yesterday. So again, this is a very personal from hockey to the Voting Rights Act. And really last is this, and I mentioned it to some of the staff, Mr. Chairman. Being from Texas, we are very familiar with the North, including Minnesota, because we were farm workers once. I've been in Minnesota, I've been in Wisconsin, I've been in Ohio. One of my brothers was born in Ada, Minnesota, because of this farm worker concept. One of my sisters was born in Watoma, Wisconsin. Another brother and sister was born in Toledo, Ohio. And my dad was born in Toledo, Ohio. So this visit, besides coming and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this resolution, is a personal reason because how we all work together. Again, great job, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. So I support the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Alonso. Recognize the delegate, the next mic.
Good morning, Samuel Vilches Santiago from Florida. I want to commend the folks from Texas and Chair Martin for putting this together. We have to call it as it is. The Republicans are trying to rig our election because they're finding out that taking health care away from 17 million Americans is deeply unpopular. And the reason I am supporting this is actually because we're going through the same in Florida. They're actually talking about taking 3 to 5 congressional seats away through gerrymandering in the mid-cycle, including seats that have been protected by the VRA, and we're going to need all of your help to make sure that we're fighting back in Florida, and obviously we're supporting the efforts being led in California and elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, we will vote on recommending the resolution as printed. All in favor of the resolution say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that resolution carries. Moving on to number 6, resolution recognizing the historic contributions of the labor movement to the Democratic Party. I'd like to recognize our chairman, Ken Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As one of the only card-carrying union members to be elected as a DNC chair, I thought it was important that we honor this labor movement in this country. And many of you know, of course, the party here in Minnesota is the Democratic Farmer Labor Party. We are the only party that has that enshrined in our name. As we approach Labor Day, this resolution is about the unbreakable bond between organized labor and the Democratic Party. That bond has been forged in fire through common fights to raise wages, to protect pensions and benefits, to advocate for workers facing exploitation, and to secure the labor rights of workers across the country. While Republicans continue to attack the American labor movement, there will always, as long as I'm here as chair, there will always be a sacred place for union voices inside this big tent coalition of the Democratic Party at this Democratic National Committee. My resolution says clearly and with a strong voice that the DNC commits to fighting alongside labor for the priorities of our union members and workers as an ally and voice for the millions of union workers and all those workers who aren't in a union but who should be. Right. Workers are the engine of the American economy, and we're going to continue to stand with our hardworking brothers and sisters in the labor movement as they continue this struggle. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, before we continue, please note that our bylaws limit discussion to resolution committee members only, and again, I'll ask 1 to 2 minutes for your remarks. I will entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval. Is there a second? Is there any discussion on the resolution? All right. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nathan Soltz, Oregon. First, I want to really thank and commend our good chair for bringing this forward, and I requested to be on as a sponsor, so I certainly hope to see that reflected when this goes up to the full body. Similar to our DNC chair, I'm one of the few, I believe, state party chairs to be a union member and was one of the original organizers to make our legislative staff in Oregon the first in the country to become unionized. And I do believe that it is so critical that every breath that we are able to, we remind folks of not just our party's commitment to labor, but also reminding folks that our party would not exist without labor. And this resolution is such an important first step so early on in the new chair's term, that we make sure folks know that that is how we are leading. So thank you.
Thank you. To Ms. Briceño.
Thank you so much. I'm grateful for this resolution because it is, I'm only involved in the party because it has labor right smack in the middle of it, and I want to make sure that it continues that way, and having Ken's leadership here grounds me more to it. And we have seen that with the decline of labor, we have seen the decline of democracy, unfortunately, and it will take labor making sure that we are all in for democracy to come back. And so we're going to need all boots on the ground of all the labor movement to help us bring democracy back. And so in California, yes, on 50, labor has been all in, and we're going to win this with labor.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize a delegate from Minnesota, Latanya Reeves.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair Martin, for bringing this forward. As you know, I am a card-carrying member and proud AFSCME union president in the state of Minnesota and Council 5 vice president. And so I truly, truly appreciate the Democratic Party recognizing the hard labor of union workers. We make this country run. We can't do anything without union labor. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Delegate from California, Jason Park.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am really excited about this resolution, and I want to thank Chair Martin for introducing this. You know, as someone who has stood shoulder to shoulder with student employees with non-tenured track faculty at Occidental College who were able to successfully unionize, and as someone who has stood with the employees of the Valley Transit Authority in Santa Clara County in their effort to organize. I've been very proud to stand on the picket lines with them, and so with that in mind, I really think that this resolution is so important. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, we will now vote on recommending the resolution as printed. All in favor of the resolution say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great. Resolution number 6 carries. Resolution number 7, in support of accurate, open, and transparent elections in the United States of America. Is Ms. Donna Brazil here to speak on this? I do not see her, so I will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval. Is there a second? Is there any discussion on this one? That's Jason's. Seeing no further discussion, we will now vote on recommending. All in favor of the resolution say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, resolution number 7 carries. Moving to number 8, resolution honoring our veterans and fighting for their earned benefits. The chair will recognize Christine Pelosi on this resolution. I thought I saw her. Maybe I didn't. I do not see her, so I will move forward and entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval. Is there a second? Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, we will now vote on recommending the resolution. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 8 carries. Resolution number 9, in celebration of the 90th anniversary of Social Security and the 60th anniversary of Medicare and Medicaid, condemnation of H.R. 1, and support for restoring life-saving programs. I'd like to recognize Keith Umameto. Oh, there he is. Go right ahead, Keith.
I want to thank the Resolutions Committee for consideration of this resolution. It is so critical as a retiree, as from SEIU, AFSCME. I know we want to move really quickly on this, but this is a resolution that we asked to speak out on. I don't know if you looked at the numbers in the last year's election. The age group that did better was 65 and over. And we have to accentuate the importance of the 90th anniversary of Social Security. And the 60th anniversary of Medicaid and Medicare, because that saves lives. So, on behalf of my senior brothers and sisters and everyone that wants to have Social Security and Medicare, and those that can't afford and need to have Medicare, and all those people where their health care costs are going to be going up because of those cuts, Those nursing facilities that are going to close, and guess what? When those nursing facilities close, or those that are going to be stretched with dollars, the price for private pay is going to go up for premiums and for those that want to have a skilled nursing facility to live in dignity the rest of their lives. And I also join the people with disability on all of these as well. I appreciate your consideration on this, and I really urge that we move it, and every single one of us has to echo the importance of both or all three pieces of legislation and reverse what H.R. 1 has done to this country.
Thank you, Keith. Before we continue, again, please note that bylaws limit discussion to resolution committee members only. I will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval. Is there a second? Any discussion? And just a reminder, I didn't state this earlier, but please state your name and your state before you give your remarks. But any discussion? Yes.
Good morning, my fellow resolution. As a card-bearing member of Medicare and Social Security, I want to speak on behalf of mental health clients all over the United States have done policies for that. Our constituents in Arkansas are very fearful of the cuts and anything relating to that. So I just want us to remember that seniors were the backbone of this community, have worked hard and still deserve our rights. Although I'm a young senior and active, I still want my benefits, and I still want my relatives and everyone across the United States, because they're not giving us anything. We worked for these benefits, and we need to recognize that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cotton. I'll go to the next delegate. Please state your name and state, please.
Millie Herrera, Florida. As a recipient of Social Security and Medicare after working my entire life, I want to also stress the need to keep these benefits. As an immigrant who arrived in this country with only one suitcase at the age of 11, I can tell you that it's very difficult for us to accumulate wealth or well-being or properties, and many of us depend on, in addition to our savings that we're able to do through our lifetime, we depend on Social Security and Medicare to have a decent, just, and healthy end of our lives and not be a burden to our children. So this is extremely important to me and to a lot of immigrants that are facing now these cuts to Medicare and Social Security when we have contributed through many years of our working lives. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I recognize the next delegate. Please state your name and state.
Deborah Cunningham-Skurnick from California. I share Keith's outrage by what's happening in our country right now in regards to Medicaid particularly. It's personal because I had a little grandson that was born in January, 3 pounds 3 ounces, with a hole in his heart. Earlier this month, he had a successful surgery, and he is on Medi-Cal. So what's going to happen to these sweet little babies a year from now who need open heart surgery like my grandson Liam? What's going to happen to children that have cancer or any other kind of illness? And also seniors. Where are seniors going to go when they're dumped into the streets because they can no longer live in the facility they are? This is very serious. And it will affect, guaranteed, everyone in this room's lives, because babies like Liam should get the care that they need. Thank you.
Thank you. Next in the stack is Harini, and then followed by Ms. Adams.
Hi, this is Harini Krishnan from California. I want to speak to this resolution as a caregiver. I have a father who is going through cancer treatment. He's on Medicaid. He has worked all his life for Social Security benefits. I have a mother who was in a hospital ICU and is now in a long-term nursing facility. And my sisters and I are able to support them at this moment. But in the process of taking care of my mother every single day for the last 60 days, I shudder to think about the seniors in this country when Medicaid is taken away and when Social Security is deprived. And this resolution is personal and it speaks to me. So thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Harini. Recognize Ms. Denise Adams.
Denise Adams, North Carolina. I, like so many in this room, I started getting my Social Security 12 years ago. I worked for that money. My parents and other African Americans in our ancestry and history were never allowed to even make wages to get Social Security if it had existed before it did 90 years ago. African Americans, particularly that receive Social Security now, they received low wages, so our Social Security checks don't look like a lot of other people's checks. So the deal is, like I tell people, without Social Security, a lot of you that your parents depend on that money, they'll be looking to move in with you. And you all know how this world is now. But I can tell you this, senior citizens, as we've said, we work for this money. And we will fight for this money. I told anybody if they touch our Social Security and Medicare, senior citizens know what it is to hit the streets with pitchforks. We don't play when it comes to our benefits. So that's why I'm speaking to this. My Social Security check will be in my bank account on Wednesday, and it better be there. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
She said, run me my money. Okay. I'll recognize Dave Woodward, and then next, after that, Otto Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I wasn't going to speak to it, but Delegate Adams inspired me. I am a son of a working family. I'm a Democrat because of the values that that working family instilled in me. They live exclusively on Medicare and Social Security. And this conversation that's going around the table, I think it's a reminder. It is Democrats that delivered Social Security in this country. It is Democrats that delivered Medicare and Medicaid in this country. It is these policies that helped us live into the sketched out vision that was outlined in the Declaration of Independence. It's going to be Democrats that are going to save Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid and restore the promise to working families all across this America. And so, Keith, thank you very much for bringing this up. And it speaks to me, and I hope that every member of Congress, every candidate for Congress, every senator and candidate for the U.S. Senate talks about this every single day. This is how we win America back.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Mr. Lee?
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for bringing this forward. I'm not eligible for Social Security benefits yet, but I hope someday I will. Let's face it, Medicaid cuts is not just affecting Medicaid recipients. As a supervisor of County of Santa Clara, we have 2 million people. We own 4 hospitals. Our trauma care, our ER beds will have to be cut because the impact just to our county is going to be over $1 billion a year. Just think about that image. You have see Dr. Evil, but the $1 million. Just think $1 billion. This is what's happening to our county every year. We're talking about closing hospitals, closing clinics, and I just want to make sure people understand too, mental health bed. We talk about unhoused issues and mental health. That's where the cut's going to come from. So if you think a homeless situation is bad in the streets, this is going to get way worse. So I just want to make sure people get to visualize, even though you might not have Medicaid, like say, I'm Kaiser, I won't need. Yes, you will, because we are the only one who has a trauma center. But because you had that really bad accident, knock on wood, you don't. We are the only hospital system, the county hospital is the only one that has the capability to save your life and your loved ones. So I just want to bring that up. Thank you very much, Keith, for bringing this up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Seeing no further discussion, we will now vote on recommending the resolution. All in favor of the resolution say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution number 9 carries.
Okay, we will now proceed to resolution number 10, resolution standing against anti-Semitism. Is Andrew Lockman from California in the room? No? Okay. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC. Is there a second? Any discussion? Mr. Schultz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I sent in writing an amendment to Co-Chair Harris earlier. I didn't have your email, but I can read it out too. I'm a sponsor of this resolution, and while I was reviewing the packet for today, I was really moved by Resolution 13 that we'll get to later on Islamophobia as well. There are two lines in particular in there, two whereas clauses that I wanted to adapt into Resolution 10 as well. So I can read those out. I can also send them if it's easier that way. But it would be to amend Resolution 10 by adding two whereas clauses. This is after the 8th whereas. So if you're looking at the back page, it's after the 3rd full whereas and would read, whereas anti-Semitism and anti-Jewish bias are not limited to the Republican Party and have manifested across the political spectrum, and whereas anti-Semitism is endemic to the other major political party in the United States, the Democratic Party has a critical and special responsibility to protect the rights of Jewish organizers, voters, and elected officials to equitable participation and free speech in political discourse at political events without fear of harassment, exclusion, or violence. Support.
Did you send those,
I emailed
the text?
it to Chair Harris. If there's a better email, I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do that. What's your email?
Party affairs at DNC.org.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, and once we have that language, we can put it up on the screen for review.
So that language came from another resolution, you said? 13?
Yes, it was adapted out of two whereas clauses in 13, and it's verbatim except such as Islamophobia for anti-Semitism, and I have forwarded it to the party affairs email that was provided to me as well.
Mr. Chairman, are those whereas clauses 4 and 5 from Resolution 13? Great.
Okay, the amendment is on the screen. Do I have to read it or no?
We need a second for that amendment.
Well, I haven't done it yet. So an amendment has been proposed. Is there a second? Second? Okay. It has been moved and seconded to amend the resolution. Is there any discussion on the amendment? I don't see any discussion. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Okay, the amendment is adopted. And now we'll return to the resolution as amended. All right, is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we will now vote on recommending adoption of the resolution as amended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Right. Okay, next is Resolution 11, resolution urging DNC support for H.R. 4292, Congressional Task Force on Territorial Voting Rights. Is Carol here? Is Carol Burke?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, great. Carol, the chair will recognize Carol to make brief remarks.
Good morning, Chair and members. I'm Carol Burke. I'm the chair of the Virgin Islands delegation, and this is my first time sitting on the Resolutions Committee. Although I've served the DNC for well over 20 years, and in contemplating this resolution, I thought it was very important that the voices of the territories are heard in a way that our rights that are being denied, such as to vote for president, as well as the congressional delegates from Guam, the Virgin Islands, American Samoa, and the Northern Marianas, they're not able to vote in Congress. And today we're simply saying that we want the DNC to join our voices to fight the fight alongside us. That while we are born U.S. citizens, if we choose to reside in any of these territories, we never ever are afforded the opportunity to exercise the right to vote for president, nor do we receive SSI. So I said that to say as well that individuals who reside in the United States, if you choose to relocate to any of these territories, which by the way includes Puerto Rico, you will be denied that right to vote for president. So I think my resolution and resolution supported by all of my colleagues from the territory is rather straightforward. And so I'm going to reserve I will return the rest of my time because I simply want for unanimous support from the members today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Burke. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing no further discussion, we'll now vote on recommending the adoption of the resolution as printed. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. The resolution carries. All right. We will now proceed to Resolution 12, resolution in remembrance of the 80th anniversary of the first and only use of nuclear weapons in war and urging a serious examination of restricting the first use of nuclear weapons. Is Keith Umemoto? The chair will recognize Keith Umemoto from California to make remarks.
Yes, Keith Umemoto from California. I bring this up because 80 years ago, in a few weeks, there were 2 atomic bombs dropped. And when you juxtapose those 2 atomic bombs and who's in the White House and the increased magnitude of the nuclear arsenal, let alone possibly dropping 1 bomb, we have the capabilities to essentially annihilate larger swells of land than was dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki 80 years ago. I bring this up because we have someone on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue that we have to be fearful of. On August 1st, he sent 2 nuclear subs. And why was he doing it? Was it a threat, or was he going to really use them? So it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we have the checks and balances and have serious negotiations and have our members of Congress really look at the potential catastrophic and maybe world-ending nuclear war if they don't have these serious discussions, particularly with that resident on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Umemoto. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing no further discussion, we will vote on recommending the adoption of the resolution as printed. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion carries.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Okay. We will now proceed to Resolution 13, resolution to stomp out Islamophobia and promote peace, dignity, and inclusion for Muslim communities at home and abroad. Is Joe Salas in the room? He's coming. The chair will recognize Joe Salas from California to make brief remarks.
Good morning, Resolution DNC Committee. Thank you very much. It's so good to see so many California people on this and everyone else from the territories and our 50 states. So thank you for taking time to entertain this resolution. I've worked closely with DNC staff to get this down to something that would be palatable for this august body. And really, I want to speak to and frame this in the frame of what our illustrious Chair Martin said yesterday. Anything that you consider today, there are arguments on the merits of each one of these, but this is a resolution on how we get people back into our party. And being a Muslim American, I could speak to some of my friends who don't find a space in here where they are welcome. And that translates into votes. So if you're for trans votes, if you're for securing Medicare, if you're for LGBT rights, API rights, this is how we enlarge our party. Someone said the other day, hey, this is a non-binary resolution that no one has to pay attention to. But people are paying attention. Trust me when I say that. In my daily life, as a Muslim American, many of my friends, I have non-Muslim friends. And so this speaks to having a voice that the perspective is, and people can say what they want, but perception is reality for some people. And there's been when we see things like Democratic Party leaders not endorsing Zoran Mandani, and then right here in Minnesota, Omar Fatah, whose button I'm wearing today in solidarity with him. People can say, oh, it's maybe because of different procedures and whatnot, but how are things perceived by that community? That's what you need to get into, their mindset, where they vote, whose name they check. And so I can go through the merits of the resolution, but I'm sure, having been on a past resolutions committee, that everyone's here is vetted this, and hopefully I can get a pass. But I'm open to work with any suggestions that this very wise committee may have. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'll give it back to the chair. Not that I have to give it back to the chair. Co-chairs, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Salas. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC. Is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, see no discussion. We will now vote on recommending adoption of the resolution as printed. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion carries.
Thank you.
We'll now proceed to Resolution 14, resolution in support of National Infrastructure Bank. The chair will recognize Carolyn Fowler from California to make brief remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Carolyn Fowler, Controller for the California Democratic Party. The National Infrastructure Bank was a bill last year in Congress for a $5 trillion bank. It had 48 Democratic sponsors, 8 ranking Democrats, and it is being ready for reintroduction in the 119th Congress as we speak. The bank will generate over 20 million new high-wage jobs. Davis-Bacon, This is a job-creating policy. It's big enough, $5 trillion to cover everything, urban or rural. It's not the first time this infrastructure bank has been done by 4 different administrations previously, and it's built much of the infrastructure that we have today. The bank will require no new federal spending. You know, we're $2 trillion in debt and growing, as a matter of fact, under this current administration, and it will require no federal taxes. It will pay for itself and make the money for most cities, states, and the federal government to help repair the needed goals of roads, bridges, broadband, power grid, water, schools, etc. And there's definitely an emphasis on mass transit. In California, we prefer mass transit than the highways because highways sometimes desolate our communities and destroy our communities, and this takes the place of that. There are several environmental safeguards that would help us reach our CO2 emissions. The bill will finance 5 million new units of truly affordable housing. There are large numbers of endorsements, including the National Association of Counties, National Black Caucus of State Legislators, National Hispanic Caucus of State Legislators, National Asian Pacific American Caucus of State Legislators, and several Democratic endorsements, including the National Federation of Democratic Women, 8 state party Democratic organizations, and a host of other supporters. As a card-carrying IAM member, as we approach Labor Day, we as a party have to start messaging the importance and the future of work. And that is what we need to be talking about. That's how we bring back voters. I respectfully ask for your unanimous support.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, we will vote on recommending adoption of the resolution as printed. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, the motion carries.
Thank you.
We'll now proceed to Resolution 15, resolution concerning...
Mr. Chair, a point of order. I had my cue card up.
Oh, I apologize. I can't see that far.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make a comment on the bill, the resolution that was put forth. May I at this time?
Sure.
Denise Adams, North Carolina. I'm sure a lot of y'all remember the ARPA money and the CARES money and all of that great money that you got while our president was in office. That was a one-shot deal, we thought. But once it was executed, I, myself, and an elected official, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Winston-Salem, I've served on the boards of the National League of Cities and North Carolina League of Municipalities, and I work with some of my colleagues here today that are on this committee to help get that passed. The only question that I have, and I've already asked, and maybe it's in here and I just don't see it, is that I remember when the ARPA bill was first coming down and the CARES money, it was discussed that the monies would go from the Fed to the state to the counties. And cities and municipalities and small villages and towns were not part of that deal. It took the National League of Cities' efforts and advocacy to make it so that your cities got and received monies. So in this resolution, I see the state and I see the counties, and I just want to know, and I know it's bipartisan, but I want to make sure you cannot leave municipalities and cities out, because we again are where the buck stops. That's my comments on this. I support it, but I need to see, and maybe it needs to be amended again, can somebody speak to, are cities involved in this? Because right now I see counties and states. And most of the counties and the states where I'm from, my state, they're not feeling what we feel. My county does not feel what we feel. They don't spend the money equitably, particularly in the urban areas where people that are poor, brown and black and red and yellow live. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Adams. At this time, I will ask for unanimous consent so we can...
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Van Johnson, Mayor of City of Savannah, Georgia, and the Vice President, Second Vice President of National League of Cities. Certainly, I think there's certainly opportunity to be able to take this resolution and fashion it in such a way that is pliable for organizations.
Yes, thank you so much. And with the unanimous consent, and make the work on the proposed amendments.
Madam Chair, I would like to just, I thought I'd said it, but for the record, the city councils of New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Seattle, Pittsburgh, and Detroit have already approved this bill. They've endorsed it. So there is money for the city. It's really jobs so that the city can get money. I just wanted to get that on record. Thank you.
Okay, we are back in debate and discussion. Is there any further discussion? And Ms. Adams, did you want to make an amendment to the resolution?
Yes, thank you. Again, I do see it on the handout that it says the NIB will invest in states, cities, counties, and public authorities. And I understand that it's for the jobs, but again, I think it needs to be pointed out if more cities are going to buy into this, particularly not, in the South, in areas where our state legislatures are strictly Republican, our county commissioners are strictly Republicans, our school boards are strictly Republicans. It's only that our city councils where the Democrats are holding the line. I just need it to be echoed and brought to the forefront in any other documentation and publications that they put out. I have no issue with supporting this, but I need to know that cities are going to be taken care of and that we are not going to be begging states and counties for funds for our cities. That's all I need to know.
Respectfully, if you will refer to the whereas 6, everyone. I'll read it. Whereas the NIB will keep public infrastructure in public hands and will prioritize financing to states, cities, counties, and other public entities.
One more question, Chair. So basically you following the playbook of the ARPA, the way the final rules came down and the way, again, that the money was dispensed, again, from the top, the Fed, to the states, to the counties, to the cities. Everybody got a piece. Everybody got something. Like, is it basically a scenario similar to that?
Well, I will just say...
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the discussion has to be limited only to committee members.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. Thank you.
Can anybody help me with that?
Is there a specific amendment?
I'm a cheerleader for it, but I gotta...
Ms. Adams, do you have a specific amendment that you would like to propose?
I would like to make sure that within the resolution, in the amendment, and that is specifically called out that funding would be provided to states, counties, cities, and school boards. But cities has to be in there. I know they said it's in there, but that's the only amendment I need. And if it's already in there, I'm good, but I just needed to know that.
It is in there. It's in the back of the page, whereas NIB will keep public infrastructure in public hands and will prioritize financing to states, cities, counties, and other public entities. The language is in there.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. Okay. So now, seeing no further discussion, we'll vote on recommending the adoption of the resolution. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion carries. Okay, we are now on Resolution 15, resolution concerning the Trump versus Casa decision and the need for the Supreme Court to start standing up for the rule of law. Is Lawrence Saxon? Perfect. The chair will recognize Lawrence Saxon to make brief remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Lawrence Saxon from California. There are a number of decisions of the Supreme Court, both precedential and also emergency docket decisions, where the Supreme Court has failed to stand up for the rule of law. Justice Sotomayor has warned that the court's holdings make constitutional guarantees meaningful in name only for individuals who are not parties to a lawsuit. That's what the Casa decision does, that this particular resolution condemns and calls upon Congress to remedy legislatively. It also calls upon us to call on Congress and the White House, when Democrats retake them, to revisit the size and structure of the Supreme Court. It is important to all of us that the courts be a check on the executive branch, that they have the ability to effectively do that, and that the Supreme Court has consistently failed to do that and has disempowered the lower courts to do that is something that I think we as a party need to stand against. And that's why this resolution is here. I submit it to you for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC. Is there a second? Any discussion? Discussion back there?
Thank you. Terry Pickens from Idaho. As a trial lawyer and someone who has great reverence for many of the members of the United States Supreme Court, it would behoove us to maybe consider in the resolution to point something out in the therefore be it resolved. So at this point, I'm making a motion to amend to add a couple of words to the therefore be it resolved. Right now it reads, therefore be it resolved that the Democratic National Committee denounces the failure of the Supreme Court of the United States. What I would prefer as a trial lawyer and someone who again has great reverence for some of those justices, that it read the failure of the right-wing majority of the Supreme Court, because there are 3 very dignified justices there that have been fighting tirelessly to save our fundamental freedoms and rights, and I think that lumping them into that category denounces the hard work that they're doing for the U.S. citizens.
Thank you. Can we get the amendment up on the screen? Okay, an amendment has been proposed. Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded to amend the resolution. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, the amendment is adopted. We'll now return to the resolution as amended. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we'll now vote on recommending adoption of the resolution as amended. Thank you. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay. The motion carries. We'll now proceed to Resolution 16, resolution to condemn and shut down Alligator Alcatraz and to rein in abusive immigration enforcement tactics. Is Juan Cuba here? Okay, the chair will recognize Juan Cuba from Florida.
Good morning. My name is Juan Cuba. I am a DNC member from Florida and a proud immigrant. My parents came to this country, like many others, because they believed in the promise of America. And our country is stronger because of the contribution of the immigrant community. What's happening in Florida is not just unlawful, it's deliberately cruel. A Republican governor commandeered land owned by Miami-Dade County and built a detention camp in 2 weeks in the middle of the Everglades to house thousands of people. People were rounded up, denied access to lawyers, locked in tent camps, and left in heat, filth, and isolation. Families didn't know where their loved ones were. This was intentional. It's meant to instill fear, to disappear people quietly, and now other Republican governors are watching and planning to copy this model in their own states. Florida is the blueprint. If we don't stop it here, it will spread. The National Democratic Party must join the environmental and immigrant rights groups that have been fighting to close this detention camp every day before this becomes normalized. We recently found some relief in the courts. A few days ago, after I submitted the original language, a few days ago, a federal judge filed a preliminary injunction to stop the expansion and detention of Alligator Alcatraz. Despite that, DeSantis is appealing the injunction and is moving forward with plans to open more state-run immigration detention centers. That's why we must pass this resolution, and I encourage you to consider an amendment that acknowledges this recent development from the federal judge. I sent that language to my colleagues in Florida who sit on this committee and also to Party Affairs. Thank you. I urge you to pass this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Cuba. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Yes, delegate.
Millie Herrera from Florida. I'd like to offer an amendment Resolution 16, in the fifth after the fifth whereas, that, by the way, this language has been sent to Party Affairs. Whereas a federal district court recently issued a preliminary injunction ordering the shutdown of Alligator Alcatraz, finding the facility awful and in violation of federal law. Yet the state of Florida has appealed the ruling and is moving forward with plans to expand this model, including a new site in North Florida intended to detain 2,000 more people under the same discredited legal theory of state-run immigration detention. And I also like to make comments about this. I refuse to call it Alligator Alcatraz. I think that it is insulting and disgusting and inhumane what they're doing to us immigrants all over the country. This is a concentration camp. There have been several reports of people that are legal residents, even citizens that have been detained without access to due process. Their attorneys cannot visit them. They are 30 men to a cage with only 3 toilets. Drinking water comes out of the top of the toilet. They're not allowed to bathe. It is the most incredible and cruel situation in a country where a lot of us, many of us, even from the first immigrants that came into this country from the England, we're all immigrants except for the natives. And I think that we need to call out this injustice and this persecution of people, that the only reason that we're here is to improve our country and to make sure that we contribute and our children and ourselves have a good life. So this is just unbelievable to a lot of us that have experienced persecution in other countries, that have fled to the United States thinking that we were protected here by our Constitution. So we are all together in this, and I really appreciate all the support, and I'm getting emotional, I'm sorry, all the support that immigrants are receiving from our party, because the Democratic Party is the party of immigrants, the party of working class, the party of women, the party of LGBTQ, disabled, everybody. So I thank you, and please, offer this amendment.
Thank you. An amendment has been proposed. Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded to amend the resolution. Is there any discussion? Debate must be limited to the amendment. Discussion? Yes.
Samuel Vilches Santiago from Florida. I grew up in Venezuela. Seeing my dad actually have to go around our house 4 times because he was persecuted due to the work that he was doing to mobilize voters against the dictatorship. We moved here in 2010. And we were lucky enough that in just 3 months, our asylum case was approved. Because that asylum case was approved, I was able to get a Fulbright scholarship to Princeton and then Oxford. My parents worked. My dad now is a business owner. My mom works at a school as a special needs student, teacher. My sister actually works for a public defender, and I always tell her she's soon to be a lawyer. And the reality is, that's exactly the immigrant story. And the people that are being kept away in this internment camp that is so un-American are no different than my own family. My family came here seeking opportunity. My family came here seeking the American dream. And us as a Democratic Party, we have to commit ourselves to making sure that that American dream is possible for all Americans and all people who seek the same American dream that we all fight for. And so I strongly support this resolution because it's time that our party calls out the bullshit that is happening in Alligator Alcatraz and in Florida. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other further discussion on the amendment? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. All those opposed say nay. All right, the amendment is adopted. We'll now return to the resolution as amended. Okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing no further discussion, we'll now vote on recommending adoption of the resolution as amended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion carries. Okay, we'll now proceed to Resolution 17, resolution affirming the American values of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the chair will recognize Bill Owen from Tennessee.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Good morning. I guess it's still morning. This resolution is a very simple resolution and appropriate to come after the resolution number 16. It talks about America being the great diverse melting pot of the world. The Declaration of Independence says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal. Equity. Inclusion. The motto of the United States of America is E pluribus unum, out of many, one. These are American values. This is what America was built on. And to my Republican friends and fellow citizens, I say, who profess to be active Christians, I remind them that DEI is the very foundation of the Christian church. I get a little emotional on this, but Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world, red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in his sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. To our Democratic colleagues and progressives, I remind us that all means all. When we say all people are created equal, all means all. It means our LGBT fellow citizens. It means old white guys like me. It means young black girls like my granddaughter. And so, all means all. It seems that in our efforts, in our laudable efforts to reach out and be inclusive to everyone, some people think that we're being exclusive. Well, that's not true. We want to be inclusive to everyone. And so, pending any questions, I offer this resolution and ask your support for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Owen. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, we'll now vote on recommending adoption of the resolution as printed. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now proceed to Resolution 18, Resolution on Gaza. The chair will recognize Allison Minnerly from Florida to make brief remarks. Allison.
Good morning to members of the committee. My name is Allison Minnerly, and I am a member from the state of Florida. This resolution is straightforward and enforceable. It calls for the end of supplying weapons and military aid as we see the war ongoing and raging in Gaza. 7% of Democrats support the party's current position in this conflict and in this crisis. In service to our voters, and as the body that is responsible for electing Democrats, we must signal clear and actionable items and solutions to our members that align us with our voters and achieve several things that were not outlined in resolution number 3. The co-sponsors of this resolution and myself will accept edits that strengthen the language urging for the release of the hostages, but we will not accept substitutes that dilute the intention of this resolution, which is to ensure that the Democratic Party will follow the will of our voters and call for an end to U.S. involvement in this particular tragedy. The resolution was drafted in consultation with Palestinians and many folks directly impacted by this ongoing humanitarian crisis. We are all members of a big tent, many of whom side without the 7% of the voters that we're seeing. Our party has a long-standing tradition of standing for human rights and international law. For voters watching at home, the chat is not active, the chat is disabled. But I will say this is a moment that calls for leadership, listening, and hard conversations. We urge that beyond calling for a ceasefire, that we acknowledge the devastation, and we also outline actionable items for our elected officials within the Democratic Party to align ourselves with the voters of our base. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC. I didn't hear it. Let me say it again. The chair will entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC. Is there a second? Any discussion? Yes.
Hi, Stephanie Beal from Colorado. I would like to amend some of the language. I'm sending that amendment to Party Affairs right now.
Okay, thank you.
I think she has to read them. What's your motion?
Yeah, if you could read your amendment.
Yeah, so on the be it further resolved, it's the after therefore, yeah, right there. Be it further resolved that the Democratic Party urges its elected members to support an immediate ceasefire, and then I've added in the return of all hostages. C would be an offensive arms embargo, and D, the suspension of offensive military aid to Israel. Furthermore, down where it says, be it further resolved, the Democratic National Committee urges its elected members of Congress, I've added in to affirm its commitment to a two-sided solution and recognition of Palestine as a country.
Okay, the amendments are being added right now. Oh, those are the amendments. Okay. An amendment has been proposed. Oh, she's still adding. Okay. Does that complete the amendments? Okay. Okay, an amendment has been proposed. Is there a second? It has been moved and seconded to amend the resolution. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Oh, yes. Mr. Kelmy.
Sorry, Madam Chair, point of order. I just wanted to point out that it says affirm its committee to a two-state solution, not commitment.
Thank you.
Can you recognize her, Rainey?
Yeah. Yes. Chair recognizes the delegate in the corner.
My name is Harini Krishnan again. I'm from California. I want to recognize the incredible number of calls and emails and that each of our committee members have received. And I want to recognize, I want to acknowledge the deep pain and the grief and the sense of helplessness that must have moved so many of you to write these emails and make these calls. I also want to say that I truly hope that as a party, we can move beyond this issue. Our country is falling apart. We are literally, ISIS picking up people off the street. They're cutting Medicaid, Social Security. Lives are at stake. Gerrymandering is going on. There is so much work that we have to do collectively as a party. The way that this resolution is written, I think I would like to see the onus of a ceasefire, not only with the right-wing Israeli government, but also Hamas, and it does not mention that. And I would like to share that I think I see the pain of both sets of people. And I want to recognize that pain. I want to recognize that both sets of people have a right to dignity and a life free of violence. And I think I appreciate what Chair Martin has said in his resolution that we just passed, Resolution 3. I want to recognize that, but I do want to say that this resolution mentions the right-wing Israeli government, but it does not put any onus on a militant group that I think is also is oppressing the Palestinian people. So I want to say that, and I'll leave it at that. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion on the amendment? Okay. Mr. Lee?
Thank you very much. I want to say thank you, Stephanie, for putting this in of this issue of why offensive arms embargo versus offensive military aid is what's being suspended. Every day Israel is still being threatened, and we've seen the mortars and the missiles as being attacked with the civilians. The shipping of defensive weapons to protect the people, the civilians, women, children, something that's truly important, and that needs to be maintained, and I'm glad that Tiffany for bringing that up. That's absolutely true. As stated in the resolutions by the 27 Democratic members, the resolution is to block offensive arms shipment to the Israeli government, so this would match what is being stated there. As a former boots-on-the-ground soldier sitting in Baghdad, I have faced these type of incoming missiles and attacks, and this is very, very real. And this is not something that we should not give to the Israeli government in order to defend its peoples from these type of attack, whether it's from Hamas, whether from Hezbollah, or whether from Iran. So I think that's absolutely important. The return of all hostages is absolutely crucial. This is all what we are trying to fight for, and I don't think there should be anybody that has any disagreement on that issue. So I just want to say thank you for adding those very important points to this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Okay, seeing no further discussion, let's vote on the, yes, Mr. Schultz.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I was going to move the previous question, but it sounds like we're going to be headed there anywhere, so I'll be brief with some comments. First, I really appreciate where this is coming from and the direction that we're headed. Certainly, as the youngest person to ever serve as chair of my state party, this is an issue that I hear about all the time and that I know is very salient to young Democrats, and I've heard from them as well as I know many of you have. As was previously referenced, while I really appreciate where these amendments are going, to me, they don't quite get there, and I think that we do have in the third resolution, which we already adopted, something very strong that very clearly lays out exactly what our party's position is, affirming what's in our platform, building on that, and represents a real strong movement on this and a clear message about where we are on this. And to what a previous speaker said, it does that in a way that allows us to move on and talk about all of these other really, really salient issues. So, I'm going to oppose the amendments because while I do appreciate where they're going, to me, they don't quite get to where we need to be, and we already have a resolution, and resolution number 3 that does that for me. So I'm going to be voting no on the amendments, even though, again, I really appreciate where they're headed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Any other discussion on the amendment? Seeing no further discussion, we will vote on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay. Yeah, the nays have it. The amendment is not adopted. We will now return to the resolution originally submitted. Okay. We're in discussion. Is there any further discussion on this resolution? Yes.
Hi, this is Corey Lemke from Democrats Abroad. I live in Seoul, South Korea, which is not too far from the DMZ, and this morning President Trump was praising the dictator in North Korea. I believe that we as a party have the opportunity to be the party of a bold foreign policy. We Americans living abroad feel the effects of American foreign policy every day in our lives, and I think I want to speak in support of this amendment, this resolution. So thank you for submitting. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Delegate in the back.
Good morning, Sophia Dannenberg from Washington. I was considering not making a statement on this one, but decided that not making a statement is a statement in itself. It's the silence of our friends. And I commend this committee for taking the first step and passing Resolution 3, but it's not enough. I think as we see even the families of the hostages protesting today, even their voices are not enough for this Netanyahu regime. And what we're hearing from the almost 5,000, I have a email filter if anyone wants to learn how to set it up so that you can at least count. I think it was up to something like 4,700 emails we've gotten, is that people want to hear a louder, stronger statement, and that this isn't the time for subtlety. And I do wish that the prior amendment had passed, the amendment had passed, because I do think that that is the intent, that we were together on October 7th at the DNC, and it was horrific. It was something that's unimaginable. I think we'll all remember where we were that day. And the Israeli people have a right to self-protection. They have a right to feel safe, and they are under threat in the region. And so again, I really appreciated your amendment, and I feel it's unfortunate it didn't pass. But even without it, October 7th does not justify the actions of this right-wing regime, massacring and starving and slaughtering the Palestinian people. And while I don't think this resolution is perfect, and I don't think that I'm knowledgeable enough on this subject to make it perfect, I do fear that we're losing our future as a Democratic Party by not being courageous on this issue. And I intentionally brought this notebook today because I wanted to always remind myself to have courage. And it's just, I was just at the UN for a meeting, and it just says all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. And as I was packing this, I actually started crying, and I'm about to do it now because I just thought about what's going on in the world, and I wonder if this is something that people really believe anymore. Is this really true? And we have to have courage. We are the strength of our country. It has to be more. And so I would urge you to support this resolution. Again, I think that the amendment would have improved it, and if you can find amendments to put in what to improve it, but I think we need to make a stronger statement. Thank you.
Thank you. And then delegate here and then there. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with what was just said, and I think that I believe very strongly that we've already made some real significant statements in the resolution that we have already forwarded, that was put forward by our DNC chair, affirming and moving on what's already in our platform. We've had so much discussion on this already, and I'm so appreciative of the discussion that we have had. This is an issue worthy of our attention. I know that all of us have been hearing from folks who feel very strongly that it's an issue that we need to be paying attention to, and we've done that, and we've had these discussions. And again, we have a resolution that reflects that. We are standing up for what we believe as Democrats, what we believe in as a better world. Like the chair said when he introduced number 3, that oneness in life is oneness in life too many. And we have a strong resolution that represents that as our position as Democrats, already building on and affirming that that is what we believe. And we also have accomplished so much today. We have such a significant packet looking at these resolutions. We have, even one after this, a number of commemorative resolutions that are talking about all the great work that we want to do as Democrats, calling out Republicans for what they've done, calling out the Trump administration for perpetuating this war from an ultranationalist right-wing government in Israel. We've talked about that, and we've called that out, and we are moving on this issue, and it is imperative to us as Democrats that we do that. And I'm so proud that we've already forwarded resolution number 3 unanimously to the floor. It does get there, and I think that we've had that discussion. We've had a really good discussion on this already, but I want us to complete our business too, because there's so much important things to do. So, Madam Chair, I will move the previous question.
Okay. Hold on. All right.
The question's been moved. Second to that, yeah.
Yep, the question's been moved to close debate. I need a second. All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, the debate has been closed.
Back to the main motion. Back to the main motion.
Yes, we're going back to the main motion. Let's see. Okay. So we'll now vote on recommending adoption of the resolution as printed. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Nay. Yes. One abstention.
Abstention, please.
Can you state your names for the record?
Deborah Cunningham, Skarnet, California.
Samuel Vilches, Santiago, Florida.
Ava Briseño from California.
Harini Krishnan, California.
Paul Lee,
I just
California.
I need to go on record. I have a proxy. My chairman is voting in favor of the resolution.
Thank you. The motion fails. We will now proceed to the next resolution. Resolution 19, resolution condemning ICE abuses, defending democracy, and restoring civil liberties. Is Luis Heredia in the room? Okay, he's not here. I don't see. The chair will now entertain a motion to recommend this resolution for approval by the DNC. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Yes, Ms. Briseño.
Thank you so much. I'm from California, and I just, just like Florida, we've had a tremendous amount of raids. We're dealing with different circumstances here, but I've said this a lot, but Latinos in California are dealing with this ICE crisis that mirrors I think we're living worse times than the times of sorry about that. Of the pandemic. It is just grueling. Many families, whether documented or undocumented, have gone without working. We saw folks in June and July. There was a study from UC Merced that showed that 3.2% of Latinos did not go to work. So on top of struggling without being able to go to work, or just go grocery shopping or going to school, it's been daunting. The mental health crisis that we're enduring, now we're a few months in, it's just a huge struggle. So I know that there's, a lot in this, so we would appreciate, we'd appreciate moving forward with this, but, to have, ICE in our streets throughout all of Southern California has been devastating. It's just been a lot. And now to know that the big ugly bill includes $150 billion to pump up ICE and, and everything that goes along with ICE is devastating. To know that in all American cities, we are going to see this devastation happen throughout for immigrant families like my families and many others. So thank you for hearing my voice.
Thank you, Ms. Briceño. And in the back, delegate in the back, and then we'll go to Mr. Alonso.
Yes, thank you. Annalisa Swan from California in Los Angeles County, and I want to strongly urge that we support this resolution. We have ICE sweeps by unidentified agents, terrorizing our immigrant communities, harassing people at court hearings where they're lawfully showing up in good faith to comply with their immigration proceedings. Also, we see National Guard. This is extending to unidentified vigilantes, and just the terror and also the economic devastation to our workforce and to states like California. And we need to be a bulwark against this expanding to other communities, which is what the Trump administration is already doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Alonso.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. This resolution, folks, is real important. Similar to what we heard yesterday about crime. And I say that because in Washington, they're creating what I call, and as a state representative in Austin, we discussed immigration many, many times. And in my comments, I said, why are they doing this? Like, for example, why are they doing all this bad stuff right now? And back in Austin, as a state rep on the floor of the House, I said, I think they're doing it because they're afraid of el cucuy. For those of you that don't know what the cucuy is, the boogeyman. So because they've created this boogeyman, they're coming and doing all this bad stuff in California. Similarly, it's happened in Texas. And it's not the first time. My dad came from Mexico because of the Mexican Revolution to Toledo, Ohio. And in the 30s, he was deported because my grandparents were not legal, and my Aunt Rosa would say that my grandma would cry as they were on the train back to Mexico. And in bridging to what's going on now, they came back to Texas hiding. So my dad and aunts and uncles stayed in Texas in the farms because they thought immigration was coming to get them. And of course, they were not. not undocumented, they were citizens. So part of what this resolution talks about is to encourage the stopping it, similar to the big cities as they're confronting keeping the military. And also, I think it says that we as a party let people know that somebody cares, that our party cares, and we stand with the folks. The other thing that this talks about is we have to let folks know about their rights. What does that mean? So people think that the president can do what he wants.
And we're at 2 minutes, but I'll let you make your closing argument.
Yeah, and it's not true, and I encourage the support of this resolution. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And I see one in the back, and then we'll go to Tarini.
Sophia Dannenberg from Washington again, and I think like everyone else, I strongly support this resolution, and I wanted to speak just towards the impact on small rural communities as well. I live on an island, and it's long, and so at the south end you can access it through a ferry. On the north end there's a bridge. And I picked up parents of school children in a town of just over 1,000 people while their children were in school in a town on the south part of this island. So they waited in line and took the ferry, or they drove an hour to target this couple. We just had in Seattle a very active member of our Democratic Party, Zahiz Chaudhry, that was just picked up at his naturalization hearing. He's married to an American citizen, has 2 small children, and served in the Army National Guard. And so this is this targeted attack on democracy. That it's not about safety, as we heard yesterday. This is about eroding our belief in this is eroding our democracy, and it's trying to put fear in people who try to stand up for the rights of immigrants. And I'm really happy that this is our last resolution here, because I think it's a really strong statement to make. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to suspend debate on this resolution and recognize Chairman Martin. Finish it? Okay. Is there any? Harini? Yes.
I just wanted to make one comment. The number of calls and emails that I've gotten from, as an AE, NHPI organizer, from people who are truly traumatized, was very obvious then when Governor Newsom announced the Election Response Rigging Act that I showed up in Little Tokyo. And the fact that they're going to Artesia, which has one of the largest South Asian populations in Southern California, and rounding up elderly. It does not matter how you came to this country, but if you fit a certain profile, they're rounding them up. It does not matter what age you belong to. The AAPI community is traumatized and scared, and I applaud the authors of this resolution, because I know that these fears are resounding throughout the ANHBI community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Krishnan. Yes.
Thank you, Terry Pickens, Idaho. I commend the authors of this resolution. I think it is universal that it is not okay to disappear American residents. My comment is I wish that the press were more concerned about the unanimous consensus among the Democratic Party that we do not agree with disappearing anybody, or we hold human life as sanctimonious. The sanctity of human life is the DNC, is the Democratic Party, and I wish the press were as interested in this resolution, because I do believe that everyone at this table is going to unanimously agree that it is not okay to disappear human beings.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, we will now vote on recommending adoption of the resolution. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, the motion carries. At this time, I would like to recognize Chairman Martin to make brief remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of this committee. So earlier today, I introduced a resolution, Resolution 3, which was focused on finding common ground in our party on a very heartbreaking humanitarian issue. And it's aligned with our party platform. This crisis in Gaza is urgent, and my resolution is focused on that humanitarian crisis and makes it clear that it must be addressed as the emergency that it is. Now, I know that there are some who are interested in making changes today, but as we've seen, there's divide in our party on this issue. This is a moment that calls for shared dialogue, it calls for shared advocacy, and that's why I've decided today, at this moment, listening to the testimony and listening to people in our party, to withdraw my amendment and resolution to allow us to move forward in a conversation on this as a party. We need to keep working through this. We have to find a path forward as a party, and we have to stay unified. No one should confuse unity with unanimity, as you've heard me say before. We can disagree in this party and still be unified. And as a result, I'm going to ask us to withdraw this resolution, and I am going to appoint a committee or a task force comprised of stakeholders on all sides of this to continue to have the conversation, to work through this, and bring solutions back to our party. And so with that, I would ask this committee to withdraw my resolution so we can move forward united today and have the conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The chairman has requested to withdraw Resolution 3. Is there a motion to grant this request? Is there a second? Okay, we will move to a vote. All those in favor of permitting the withdrawal, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. I think I'm done.
All right. So we have 21 commemorative resolutions which were sent out to DNC members in the Secretary's 14-day mailing. We typically, group those together to pass those in block, but I'd like to take a point of personal privilege to speak on the first commemorative resolution, the resolution honoring the life and career of Melissa and Mark Hortman. All of you at this point have heard of the stories and heard the reflections of our, who I call our forever Speaker of the Minnesota House, Melissa Hortman, who was tragically assassinated on June 14th. The last time I was actually in this building before this week was the last night of her life, and we shared space along with other Minnesota Democrats. And you guys have heard it all, and you'll read the resolution. But the only thing I'll say is this, since we're running out of time: that assassinator may have taken out her body, but he could do nothing to take out her spirit. And the work that we're doing together is in honor of that spirit. And I appreciate the reflections and appreciate the commemorative resolution. And with that, I'll pass it to Minnesota DFL Party Vice Chair Marge Hoffa to make a motion.
Thank you, Chair Harris. I would just say, I would echo what Ron had to say about Melissa, and also add that this is personal for us, but it affects the whole country. When you have been in her kitchen and played with the dog and all that, it's not just somebody political, it brings it home. And LaTanya and Ben and Ron, it affects us very deeply, so we appreciate you considering this. I move to vote in block that the committee recommend to the full DNC the adoption of the commemorative resolution C1 through C21. This motion does not intend to preclude members from speaking on individual commemorative resolutions.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, we will now vote on the motion to recommend all 21 commemorative resolutions numbered C1 through C21 for approval by the DNC en bloc. All in favor of the resolution say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. All right, C1 through C21 have been passed.
Thank you, Ron. So this concludes the business that we have before us today. Thank you all for your thoughtful consideration of all of our resolutions. We truly appreciate your commitment to this committee and to our party. And following today's meeting, staff will prepare the committee's report containing the final text of each resolution as recommended by the committee, including all approved amendments, along with the names of DNC members who signed on to resolutions as co-sponsors. That report will be sent by the Secretary's office to all DNC members prior to tomorrow's meeting and will be presented for consideration and approval at the general session. Are there any questions on today's proceedings? Seeing no further questions. What's that? Oh, sure.
Before we close out, I just want to say a big time shout out to all the staff that have helped support this, that have helped facilitate this. Big time shout out to all of you. This is the largest this committee has ever been due to the fact that Chairman Martin has opened up more seats and opened up more voices. And even though we started late, we're wrapping up almost on time. I appreciate the deliberation. I appreciate the thoughtful reflections. I appreciate the commitment to ensuring that our party lives up to its values.
Thank you, Ron. So seeing no further questions, I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. The ayes have it. This meeting is now adjourned.
Oh, you gotta hit it.
Oh.
You gotta hit it. There you go. There you go.